Okay. Welcome to the show, everyone. We're going to get right into this because I can't stop staring at Melanie's chest.
Mm.
I cannot get my eyes off that bald head on your chest.
It's so juicy, baby. But look at that. I wonder whose ass they used. I had to get it.
I think it's the rocks. I
You
think
reckon
it's
it's his? That's what I said to Phil. I was like, he would do it. He would pose like that.
You think he would? I
He
mean, I would.
would.
He looks like you'd have a nice round patush.
Yeah, he
Patush.
does. A rock hard one, if you will.
Yeah, Melody is sporting a t-shirt with The Rock, and he has like short shorts like Daisy Dukes on, and he is showing some badonkadonk.
Yes.
So that's what Melanie's wearing with like very fancy
Yeah,
earrings.
well, you know how I was saying that I want to dress up for the pod, so I was like, this was my way of dressing it up. But isn't it giving high fashion?
It is though. I am here for it. It is giving what it needs to give because I feel like without the earrings, the outfit wouldn't be complete.
Thank you. And you know what? I've finally watched enough RuPaul's Drag Race to not give a fuck what anyone thinks about what I'm wearing. And I was like, when I had and this is so random, but when I had the idea, I was like, no, that's so silly. Why would you put on your most glamorous earrings with like a stupid t-shirt? And I was like, because it's iconic and
It's
you want to,
iconic.
and it feels right. It
Yeah,
feels right. She's red carpet ready now.
she is. She
Yeah.
is. She is the moment.
Yeah, me.
I feel it. I have to ask,
Mm.
um, did you finish Squeak?
No, of course, not yet. Have you?
I
Oh, she tore
finished
through it. She's tore her squeaking way through it.
it. So, okay, it's called Squeak, a Twisted Tale by Vera Valentine, our new favorite author of
Yes.
the, I don't know what to
Incredible,
describe it as.
glorious,
Glorious,
out of the
amazing.
box porn books.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's only like an hour and a half
Mm.
audiobook. And so yeah, I
The
I, I won't go into detail, but
quick finish, is it?
oh, it's a quick finish, baby. It is a quick finish. Have you started it?
Yeah, I've started it, but like I thought, are we saving the surprise or should we just let our listeners know
I think we have to. I think
Yeah.
we have to.
Well,
Yeah.
she's coming in March, so I wanted to read it right before. I wanted to read it before she came.
Yeah, we are having the Vera Valentine on, who our entire episode of what was our
Our Christmas, our
skanky,
very skanky Christmas app.
yes, where we went like we did a play-by-play of um what was the title?
Unhinged. Unhinged.
Unhinged. Yeah. So when Melanie brought up that she and Kelly, our friend Kelly Escobar, had mentioned
Yeah.
to read Squeak,
I
Melanie
think
was like,
Kelly says it was Raquel. She's shifting the blame onto Raquel.
yeah, yeah. Whoever it was, whatever sultry vixen recommended these books to you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so we were talking about Vera Valentine, and Melanie's like, let's try and get Vera Valentine on. And so I shot her an email, and she was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And
Yeah.
the way I cackled of excitement to
Yeah. An
have
icon.
an icon. I'm so friggin' excited. So
Same. And I just like, honestly, just coming off our chat with Gretchen and like thinking about, like, this is why I love doing the podcast with you, though, because I just threw this big idea out to the wind and you're like, okay, let's try make that happen. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it felt like a very ballsy thing to do to ask her on. But like, she was the quickest reply we've ever had to come on, you
yeah,
know? And it just goes to show you just got to like keep taking those gambles. And some of your yeses are surprising places that you didn't expect. Sometimes you find your kindred spirits, places
yeah.
you didn't, squeaky places you didn't expect. But so you finished it.
I sure
I don't
did,
know if
babe.
I want to ask you about it now or if I want to ask you about it on that episode.
Whenever I am ready to speak on the squeak, any freaking
Mm, Can you
There
wait till
is,
I read it? I want to read it as
I will
well.
wait.
Okay.
I will just say, no, I can't. I
No,
can't
go, please.
say it. There is like filling, like funnel cake filling.
Don't
I
just
think
open with filling when we're talking about that book.
there is
Girl.
funnel cake filling, and it's what he
He
it's
what
it's what
he
he
like
has. He when
he
he's done,
ejaculates
it's
funnel
funnel.
cake filling.
Pretty sure it was funnel cake
I
filling.
just snorted.
The
Well,
way
I
I
have to read
sound.
it at once now.
You must. I swear. It's quick read that will have your head spinning.
I
Like,
just wish that our listeners could have been in our DMs when we went from the screenshot of that other skanky book you sent me to me being like, oh, I'm reading this because those girls egged me on into it. And you were like, immediate download, immediately read before our next episode, got Vera on the show. The gloriousness.
I don't play. I don't play. Yeah, unhinged, it unlocks something in me. It really
That's adorable.
it really did. It brought something that I think I was missing in life. So, yeah. But
I
hey, I
love
mean,
that.
honestly, it was really fun having Gretchen on.
Mm,
Guests, be prepared. She is a firecracker. She had
yeah.
so many fun, amazing things to say. And just like great advice too, of just like just a whole shebang. But one of the things
Yes.
that I really, really liked was kind of just like shoot your shot. Just
Mm,
shoot your shot. Like being a writer is full of no's, but you never get a yes unless you don't,
yeah.
if you don't try. And so the no's are gonna come, and
Mm,
but the yeses will come too, and they're gonna be big yeses, and beautiful yeses. And sometimes it just
mm,
comes randomly through connections that you've made. Um, like I swear, since like debut, I post and I'm still trying to like drag myself out and like remember to have like be in that fun headspace again, but it still gets a
mm,
little weird sometimes in your brain.
mm.
Um, but
In
like I
what
keep
way?
posting. I think it's like I keep going, like keep getting in my head about, like it's not doing as good as I hoped.
Mm,
Like there's not, I didn't do this, I didn't do enough, or we're not selling it enough, or whatever. My brain is just like playing all these like what ifs or I should
yeah.
have. And I've been trying to like shift it of just being like, no, like you still did the damn thing. It's amazing. It's like huge, and like shifting into gratitude.
Mm,
But like a part of that, I feel like social media like the last few months has been not as fun for me, of like, oh, I feel like I still like I got to keep posting and reminding people that this damn book is still in
mhm.
the world. And so I'm missing kind of the fun part,
Yeah.
but and I that's the part I love, is just like being on here and or being on social media and like doing a silly video and just like
Yeah.
enjoying laughing with people about writing or books or whatever. And so I've
Mm,
been missing the fun part, but like I've been really trying to like get back into that, or just taking a break,
mm.
whatever like the mood sort
That's
of
it.
like,
Chase the
whatever.
mood. That's the smartest thing there, I think, because I think it is a bit of a like it's a seesaw for me. Like there's days where I'm like, social media has been the thing that like made my career like what it is already. And then other days you're like, it's evil and it must burn, you know? And it's
Yes.
like that dramatic for me, and I'm guessing for you as well. And so it can be a really hard balance to be like, but also like our whole community is on there, right? For the most
Yeah.
part. And so even though I need breaks from it, I feel the same. I get like that FOMO, and I feel like I miss out on important posts when I'm like away from it. But if I'm on too much, I notice how it triggers my anxiety quite quickly if I overdo it. But maybe
Yeah.
that's just it. It's just a constant like checking in with yourself. Like that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. Like I'll be on and I'll like network and like just chat to friends and like whatever I feel like doing. but I'll be always checking in with my mood. I'm like, what's my anxiety levels at? Where's my brain at today? And kind of the moment I feel myself going into one of those, I know what you mean, like those sucking whirlpools of questions about the industry. I'm like, that's enough internet. Or I'll specifically like look at things that I know will help improve my
Yeah.
mood. Because I
Yeah. Like,
think,
yeah. No,
mm,
I think that's beautiful is like searching for the joy or the good that will help your mood because
yeah.
you really can get so sucked into like um not like comparing yourself or like putting
Mm,
yourself down against others, but you're seeing everybody else doing things and you're like, oh, I want to do that, or oh, I should have tried that, so
yeah,
it's like, um, so but yeah, it's like when it does, you do feel that shift in your mood of like you feel it like it feels heavy.
it
And so
does.
when
Yeah.
that happiness comes, like searching for something that's going to bring lightness back into you or shutting it off
Mm,
and dancing, going for a walk,
yeah.
like getting out. Um, I've honestly like I've been trying to read a lot. I just continue
Yeah.
like that's my goal for this year. And so
You're
um
killing it.
yeah, like I'm just trying to enjoy and like be happy again. Like I
Mm,
really just don't want to feel like I have to promo anymore because I
yeah.
love being on social media and like making funny videos, but I don't necessarily love
Mm,
like promo unless
yes.
it's funny.
And real
Unless it's
talk,
really
it's like we've
ridiculous.
said, like the kind of like, yes, there are those really rare instances where it's like a viral book and millions of copies sell overnight. But like that's kind of like what we've talked about a bunch. Like, whilst that would be great if that happens, it is the exception, not the rule. And
Yeah.
I think that's why it's so important, like you said, to re-ground yourself in like what you want. And like, and I think for me, a lot of it is reminding me how slow burn it all is. Like how like none of that what you've done is wasted. And sorry, Miss appearing on the face of the Barnes and Noble Instagram page. Doesn't sound like nothing to me. It's like, but that's books, you know, it's not like a reel that you download and you get a million views and there's instant fame on it. But like books aren't like that. Books are like a slow prehistoric beast that like takes time to tread across the earth and find its, you know. But that's hard. It's hard to wait it out and it's hard to not like be up in our heads of like, are we doing enough? And it's actually conversations I want to have with our guests more. Like I'm seeing so many posts about people burning out in the creative industry lately, about the impossible weight of it all, of being an artist, of being like, and I saw a post the other day and it was like one of those posts of like just designed to make you think it's like you've become a exceptional marketer, but your work has suffered.
Yes.
And I was like, fuck, like that's kind of where I was headed like a few whatever before when I was kind of like, this doesn't feel right. Like so in on that side of things that like my writing was suffering and it was sucking my joy out. Because yeah, like there is fun parts to it. I agree with you, but not when it's like pressure, not when there's like a chokehold on you to produce and like our best work isn't done on demand anyway. It's when we're given opportunities to play and experiment and fuck up. Like,
Yes.
can we talk about how necessary it is to be fucking up all the time as a creative? If you're not screwing up, you're probably not doing it right. You should
Mm,
be failing a lot. You should be like making shitty work a lot. And if you're not, I don't think you're making enough work. You know, like let it happen. Like get the crappy sides of it out of the way to make your good work, you know. But anyway, that was very ranty, but yeah, I agree. Hard agree.
hard agree, hard agree. And then it's also too like I find when I do just have fun and just
Mm,
enjoy it and just let it be light, that's when things happen. Like
right?
that's when random good things feel like they happen. And
Mm,
you say it often, energy attracts the like, or
yeah.
energy. And I feel like when your like vibrations are up and you're in a different headspace, things happen. I don't
Mm,
know. Yeah, I've been just really just
I love
working on
that.
my, vibrations. And
Yes.
but
Yes, honey.
I saw this thing on TikTok. You
Yeah.
don't have to be on TikTok. You'll see it eventually. But I
Ah,
saw it.
listeners, wait for the burn that's coming later in our interview. That's why Angela's cackling at me.
Yeah.
She's
I
judging
saw
me.
this thing and it really changed me. And I don't know if it's right or not,
Mm,
but this guy was saying that your heart, your like actual organ, your heart
mm.
is like has it's like electric in a way, or like
Yeah, electrodes.
yeah, electrodes, thank you.
Yeah.
And so it like vibrates out like 3 feet around you, like this sphere
Really?
of electricity. And you know how like when someone's like, oh, I just get bad vibes from that person, it's you're feeling the energy that they're letting out.
Oh
And
my
so
gosh,
that's
that
what they always say about
sucks.
like, right? Like that's what they're saying. Like you want to raise your vibrations because you're putting out good into the world and the world feels it. The universe feels that.
Wow.
I was
Yeah,
like, damn.
like, dang, yeah, like I've got chills from that because I am a highly sensitive person. Like, I have walked onto a tram before and made eye contact with someone and gotten straight off because their vibes were so bad. Like,
Yes. And
literally.
I put out very bad vibes when
No,
I am.
you absolutely don't. Your vibes are so good, they shine through the internet.
Yeah,
Resting
well,
bitch face is not the same as bad vibes, my friend. And people who are self-aware know how to tell the difference. I've been thinking a lot about this. There's like people who like give off this like grumpy vibe, but they have a good heart. And then there's people who give off that grumpy vibe and then they're just like a-holes. And it becomes apparent really quick when you deal with them.
yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That does. So
Mm.
now we're just trying to raise them vibrations, girl.
Yes. Also,
And
it can't be electrodes. I feel like electrodes are something in chemistry, so let's take that back. Who
it's
knows what it
something
is,
with
but I knew what you
it's
meant.
something like, electricity. It's like I think it's electricity. I think it's like electricity, guys.
Yeah, it's
I'll
like
have to look it up.
is it similar to
It's
two?
science.
It's like I feel like we're two bimbos trying to discuss science now. I was gonna say, is it like I'm just gonna say it. I don't care how stupid I sound. It's like when you go to the ocean and there's all those positive ions in the air. Ions, maybe? I wonder if it's that. Because it like
Yeah.
actually chemically changes the energy in your body. Mm.
See, there's something. There's
Yeah,
something
it's a
in
thing.
our little parts. And
But you're
so,
so right. And like I've just I just did another round of meditations with Inez. We wound up doing the energy of attraction ones together. And like the timing was just so good. And like you're so right though. Like it literally is like that change of mindset is life changing. And it's like I was thinking about it the other day, like I really am in a more peaceful mindset this year than last year. And even just like even though I haven't gotten an agent yet, I was thinking about some of the opportunities that have come my way. Like, just like these lovely things that came out of the ether that, like, I wasn't expecting. And that it's kind of that, like, when you're at peace and you're just like grinding and doing what you love, it does seem to be that, like, that energy attracts that.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also like being very conscious of putting out.
Mhm.
Like I know like the other day, and honestly, it really helped after like I've been trying to read as I've been saying.
Yeah.
And so after I finished books, like I've been going out of my way to leave reviews. And
Oh,
it's actually
bless.
really hard to like
Yeah.
come up with smart things to say
Mm.
and
No.
to sound like, I really know what I'm talking about. And but so I've been trying to leave reviews on different sites for people books I've read or friends. And even that like lifts your mood a little bit more because you're putting out these good
Mm.
things. And even if they'll never see it,
Yeah.
you know that you added a little 5 star here and there and like sprinkling little magic into the universe. And so
Yeah.
and I think it all comes back in the end. I hope. I don't know.
I think so. And I think at the very least, like something I'm getting more comfortable in is like working out like what's right for me and what's not. Because that's the thing. Some of these, like I was thinking about that, like when we touch on the
Hmm.
rejection I got yesterday. I was thinking about that and I was like, sometimes the spaces you thought you wanted to sit at aren't for you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, sometimes the people you thought you wanted to be your friends or you wanted their approval aren't for you. And it can be like a really slow, hard process to learn and to like, you know, separate that,
Mm.
separate your like self-worth from when you don't align with someone. Because there's a lot of that too. Although I will say that rejection I got yesterday had nothing to do with aligning. And like I feel like I rarely like let my full like fury pop off. I was like, I'm gonna call these mofos out. Like I'm not gonna specifically name them, but like so yeah, like as you know, I resubmitted that story I wrote for Owlcrate. I was like, oh, I'll chuck it a few other places and see if I get any bites from other anthologies or whatever. So I submitted to this Australian magazine, and the reply they sent me back was like seriously like reading a bad review on Goodreads, but finding it in your inbox from the people you're trying to get approval from, right? You're trying to
Yeah.
get a yes from them. So, like, I mean, I put it in my post, but I put my scathing. I'm actually glad I posted. It was really validating to have like people I respect
Oh
and
yeah.
look up
It takes
to
a
be
lot.
like, yeah, I've experienced that and that's unacceptable. So their feedback included comments like writing okay doesn't go beyond this though, and doesn't bring anything new to the genre. And overall average okay at best.
Like what? Why? Like what good does that do them to write
Right?
something?
Like,
Yeah.
to be fair, yes, it was a tropey vampire story. Like, that's kind of what I was going for. It was a fantasy magazine I submitted to. So I was like,
Right.
I thought vampires would be welcome in that space. But regardless, like, everyone is 100% like, I honestly feel like if people don't hate what you do, you're not trying hard enough, right? Like, I'm so here for bad reviews and whatever, but I don't think like a publishing body should ever be sending that back to authors because especially like if you have any idea of your industry, you know what sensitive creatures authors are. And like I'm kind of lucky I'm old enough and ugly enough at this point that like I can like shrug it off and
Right.
continue on. But like I'm sure not even that many years ago that would have obliterated me. I would have like spent weeks, months just like questioning, do I have anything of value to offer this industry? Because the voices I'm submitting to have just told me I don't. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like something that I find, and like the reason I posted about it yesterday was like, yeah, like I know like a couple of my friends in the States have been like, why don't you try more in like Australia, rah, 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 rah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
like,
I've
I
known
would,
that.
yeah, yeah, no, and it's a valid question.
It
No,
was me.
no, it's not just you, but like, because a lot of my community is American. And like, but yeah, it's like sometimes there's this. I'm relieved it's not just me who's felt it. Like a few people piped up on the post, and I was like, yeah, like it's definitely like there's this aloofness towards fantasy or like genre fiction in general, like horror, I guess. And it's like, I just felt like calling it out because it's like again like I'm not the same little fragile zygote. I think before I was just like, oh, but they're the big bad ones and I shouldn't say anything bad about them. And I'm like, no, that had no place in my
Right.
inbox. And
Yeah.
I feel so mad thinking of like a young like budding writer reading that and being like so crushed by it and feeling like their stories are invalid, you know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so uncalled for.
Yeah,
It 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 just makes me like my blood boil just to think
same.
that like say it exactly like say it was somebody who's just starting out and just like here's my little thing I've worked so
Yeah,
hard on, I love so much, and then just to get that sort of thing back, it just
yeah.
there's no point. There's no
Goose
point
is crying about it in the background.
because Goose is pissed, and you know what, Goose,
She
I
should
agree.
be. Like,
Yeah,
look, I don't want to call out the whole Australian publishing industry because there are
all
some
of Australia
real
is bad. All of us.
there are some real gold nuggets there as well. But yeah, there is this kind of like suffocating part of it where it feels like fantasy YA, like even YA sometimes there's just like certain circles won't take you seriously, and there's kind of almost always this hand just trying to keep you at a distance is how it feels sometimes. And just like how expensive it is. Like, my gosh, like I looked at a website to try and think about like pitching to a agent,
Yeah.
And first of all, you had to be a member of the society, which was like $160 membership per year. And then you had to pay for the event and to book the agent, right? Which I've done. I've done these things before.
Yeah.
And it's expensive, and but then the worst part was there was in the fine print, they were like, member people who have been a member for the past 3 years will get priority booking. So say
Wow.
there's this one agent you want to book, they might book out before you even get a chance to bid on it. So you could spend $200 on the hope that you might get a chance to pitch. And like honestly, unfortunately, in my personal experience, I'm sure it's not everywhere. In my personal experience, like that's why I struggle. Like just Australia awareness for fantasy authors. It's why I'm so stubborn about looking for a external agent because the opportunities here are so small. And the communities, some of the ones that I have rolled in, have been very like, there's almost this like eye roll equality, like to, oh, you write fantasy or whatever. Like they really, it's not something, and a lot of pub houses will be like, not accepting, either they'll be open to everything, not accepting fantasy or memoir. I'm like, don't put us with the memoirs. Group us with them.
The memoirs.
Sorry, memoir people, but it's a
It's a little different.
very
Yeah.
specific
Very specific.
market. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's but I was grateful that I was in the frame of mind where I was able to be like, you know, I know enough people have read my work and loved it and things have happened that I'm like, I'm not going to take it to heart. It wasn't for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's definitely something that I'm not gonna like allow myself to be bullied by that in the local industry. And I'm really gonna just that's what I've been doing. I've just been like slowly focusing on networking with the people who are good energy, like and who don't have that kind of chip on their shoulder about publishing and like what warrants proper writing. I'm not literary enough, darling. I'm not literary enough, like
Hate it. I hate that so
I
much.
hate it. Like I
Now, did
literally,
you,
I think I told you this before. There was like one book club I was going to for a while trying to network, and then I like plucked up the courage to go to this event. And there was a person from the book club. It was the only person I knew at the event, and they literally didn't make room. I walked in, I was like, oh, thank God, I know someone. And I walked towards the table, and they literally like didn't make space. Usually be like, oh, hey, like come make space. They literally like blocked me out. And I had to go find another table to sit at. I was like,
I hate that so much. But like, I feel like that's something that's every writer feels and is gonna go through at some point, and you feel
yes.
that like you don't belong here or
Mm,
whatever. And especially in Australia, apparently. Them
right.
them fucking Australians. Um
Right. It's funny because Australians as a
kangaroos.
general are so easygoing, but Australian publishing is so bloody uptight. It's like such a contrast.
I wonder if it's maybe like it's a smaller industry. Is that what it is? Because
Smaller.
I mean, Australia's a big old place, but I guess it's just
But
a
our
small.
population is small for the size of the country. Like we're mostly desert, real talk. It's mostly desert and camels and kangaroos out there. Like
That feels right. That feels right.
it does feel right. But like, look, I also get it's more complicated than that. And sometimes it's like a case of wrong timing, whatever. Like, there's a lot of us neurospices and, sometimes you're having an anxious moment. Like, I don't actually expect people to like, you know, throw their arms out and like always be welcoming and whatever. But I do expect kindness and respect. And I think like if you can't have that, and that's what I guess that's my whole point. I think I realized that like even like that random example, like I found better people, cooler people to talk to that night. Like, and they are there. They are there. It's just like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm realizing that, yeah, and that's kind of why a long-winded explanation to why I'm so stubborn about getting an American or a UK agent, because
Yeah.
to be frank, the Aussie author books that are on my shelf that stay on the shelves all are agented.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, shit, bitch needs an agent. I will keep stubbornly hunting the people who like my goofy Australian voice. And yeah.
No, and like we would mention trying to shift into like the positive mindset, but you're also allowed to have those moments where you
Yeah.
can boo-hooing and in that space of just like you.
Right.
You're
Right.
allowed
And
to
that's
just
it.
flow. Yeah. And also I feel like all of those, especially sometimes those stingy no's are such
Mm.
fuel to like
They are good
keep
fuel.
going. Yeah, because I still think of this one agent that gave
Yeah.
me that pass, but she didn't just pass like, no, thank you. It was one of those, like this book will never sell.
Yeah.
This is so like out of tune with what's happening in the world. And I was like, what?
Mm.
And
That's,
I'm still mad. And I still
yeah.
every once in a while I go to her page and I just curse her out. I just
Just
look at
glare. Give it the little evil eye.
her and I just want to send her a copy of my book and be like, listen, bitch, you
Okay,
know?
like I literally had the thought of like, wait until these motherfuckers read Severed Cape. That shit is as far from derivative as you can get. I'm just
Yeah.
like, but like that's the thing, like it really is we're towing the line, right? Like if you go too far out of genre and trope, people are like, where do we put it? Where do we put it? But then it's like if you like lean into it too hard sometimes, it's like, oh, it just, you know. But yeah, you should send her a copy. Send her a copy. We're not spiteful, but I agree with you. Anger and spite can be very helpful motivators. So
Yes, but only if it's healthy. A healthy amount.
a balanced amount, nay,
Yes,
ye a spoonful of spite for thy breakfast.
yes, yes.
Before I
Not
forget, I saw
yeah.
you post something about Santi story.
Oh yeah. I'm
Hang
just kind
on, hang
of
on.
fiddling with like a little like a short story. Just a short, I don't know, maybe 20,000 words, maybe shorter. I don't know if I can get there, but like just a fun little romp around like before Sinner's Isles, Santi and Marion, like just getting into trouble. I just thought about it. We'll see. But it's been fun to kind of get back in his head a little bit.
Yes, well,
So
because you know that we all, your faithful readers, want it. We want more Santi. So, I was like quite satisfied to see that pop up, and we'll all be watching. No, no pressure.
watching, waiting. I like kind of wrote it out. It's only
Yeah,
like 5,000 words right now, and it's
yeah.
80, but I think it could be pretty fun. We'll see.
They might put it like in the second edition. It might be like an additional material if it's short. Or
Yeah,
would
I
they
mean,
do
it's
like a
hard
novella
to.
maybe?
That's what I mean. It'd be kind of fun. I'll see. I'm gonna try and pitch it if it's good. But
Oh, it's
I
gonna be good. Come
because
on.
Sinner's Isle's gonna come out in paperback in December, I think. And so maybe
Yeah.
that'd be like a fun pre-order thing. I don't know. I'm just dilly-dallying. I'm just dilly-dallying.
No. We want it. We need it. We need it in the next book box, the next Montoya book box. Do you have
Yes.
any other exciting updates?
Um, Nothing I can share.
Oh, dare Well, I mean, that's enough. That's enough to keep, all of us on the hook.
What I
Shall
just
we
did.
read, shall we read Gretchen's bio?
We should. We really should. Shall I read? Uh,
Please.
um, how do we say Gretchen's last name?
Well, you know what? I did wonder this. I think since my name is spelt the same way with the
Ah,
CH,
yeah.
I would say Schreiber
Schreiber. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay.
or Schreiber.
I'm not gonna say it like
Mm,
Schreiber. Yeah.
Schreiber.
Gretchen Schreiber grew up between the hills of Kansas and the hospitals of Minnesota, but now calls the hills of Los Angeles home. After getting her MFA from USC Film School, she now works as a professional bookworm for Hello Sunshine, Reese Witherspoon's media company. She is also down to run away to Disneyland or a bookstore. Makes total sense why our godfather, Jessica Parra, and
Yes.
Gretchen get along so well. Both are Disney fanatics and have fire energy. They are
Yeah.
twin souls. Yeah.
They are cut from the same cloth, 100%. Yeah, I definitely was sat there thinking that's para energy, right? I can totally see why they get along. But the one thing I wanted to say, like in case our listeners haven't seen our incredible relit episode, please go watch that because yeah, we never introed it. So I was like, just in case they were wondering, like, what the hell was our last episode? It was just like an incredible. We did the launch for Relit and this anthology that was just wild. But I also wanted to shout out. I saw Sandra posted. She's doing these live Zoom webinars
Oh,
on
cool.
Wednesday, February 21st and February 28th. So just for $25, she's doing one using business strategy to select your next writing project and creating characters readers will root for. I just saw that she posted that and like I'm definitely going to do it. It sounds amazing. So I was like, I want to just get the word out because it sounds like a really cool opportunity. And yeah, she was
Oh,
the editor for Relit.
for Relit. And she was on our podcast a couple months back,
Yeah.
Sandra Proudman, who is absolutely another one of those special souls that we just love. So happy to have her.
Yes. Now, in our last 1 minute,
Yeah.
talking about the spelling of Gretchen's name, I have just been reminded of something hilarious, and I wasn't sure if I was ever going to tell you because I didn't want to stress you out
Oh,
back
no.
in debut time. But I'm ready to tell you now
No.
that there is a typo in Sinner's Isle.
What,
And
what
that typo,
is it your name?
my goddamn name, holding on to this for so long. I feel like I didn't want to stress you out because I don't care. But I was like, bitch, if my name's in it again, make sure they get it right.
Are you serious?
Yeah. When
Oh
we
my
were spelling Gretchen's name, I was like, oh, it's time. It's time for me to reveal the typo in Sinner's Isle. But I actually lived for it. I cackled so hard when I saw it. Because you'd written the most beautiful, heartfelt thing, and I was in tears. And then I was like, Melanie, scoop it.
Yeah.
Hello again.
Did you miss me?
Yes. Sorry, I had fear from last time we recorded, something glitched, and I will never be the same. So
Oh
now
no.
when I saw something come up, I was like, listen, just in case I need it to just do the normal thing.
Yes. Yes.
Better to be safe than sorry. We do not want the world to miss out on this amazing episode having you. So we're really excited and we're so happy to have you on.
No, thank you guys. Also, do I need to wear my headphones? They're being really weird and
No,
glitchy.
Try without. It's up to you. As long as you can hear us, it'll be sweet.
yeah. Whatever the hell works. That's what
How's
we
that?
do.
There we go. Sorry, like my head, like it was like that weird feedback loop that sometimes people, like performers, talk about when they get their inner ears all messed up. And I was like, oh, this is not going to be a great. I'm going to just make weird faces for an entire hour.
You were having your rock star moment where you had to tear out the
You
headphones.
tear it out and just like go for it without any of the like clicks or thing. I've learned so much thanks to TikTok about what inner ears do.
Really?
Apparently, there are like click tracks. So you can keep beats and everything.
What?
So like in addition to like having your feedback of like this is what I sound like so you know if you're in tune or not, there's like a click track that goes through, and every performer who has an inner ear has their own like way that their click track works, like so that like if they need it like this way or they need it this way. So like again, the things you learn on TikTok.
I have learned a lot. Okay, I'm not a TikTok girly, but like I have to say, a lot of information, new information that I currently possess is from Reels.
Ooh.
I do fact check. Like if
On
something
TikTok?
pops up. No, on Instagram Reels.
Oh, it's no, I was like you fact check the Reel on TikTok.
No, that would be like just like fact checking from a single source.
I love it's so funny though because and I'm sure you understand this, Gretchen, but like TikTok, you see the TikToks first and then maybe a month later it comes up on Reels.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, it's like whatever comes around, it's like, oh, that's where that came from. I know where we're at now.
Whoa. Attacked. Attacked. I felt that burn.
little bit. It's okay.
Okay, but
I
how are your brains? How are your brains? Are they melted?
Not
Because I'm
good,
hearing it's
but-
melting over there.
But how's anybody's brain since the pandemic?
Nope, not good.
So,
Preach.
you know,
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, post-pandemic, it's all the same. It's all bad. It's all
yeah,
bad.
it's all bad. It's all mush. And you decide to pour it out into a book at some point. Here we go. Here's my little bookie book.
Right? It really is amazing to still live in a creative space when everything is chaos. But I think it's the only way to survive for so many of us is just like, I'm gonna pour it out on the page. It's the only way. But yeah, so it's fun to see your beautiful book behind you, which
I know. I was like, let me do the the proud like
you have to. Yeah, have the proud bookshelf moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to. It's mandatory. And it's gorgeous, which we'll get to. But we want to learn a little bit more about you before we begin. So we have our random facts round.
I love this.
That we have painstakingly come up with these hard-hitting questions.
And recently removed questions like, what's your favorite? What animal would you be? There were some crackers there, but we'll bring them back. We'll bring them back at some point.
You should. What animal would you be? I feel like that, it's a great one.
What would you be? What would
I
you
feel like my gut answer, like top of the head, would just be a humpback whale because I feel like I would want to live forever. And I would just want to, sorry, my like social media person is now texting me and I'm like, silence everything.
Yes.
Everybody.
No, I'm fascinated by this is the second time we've had this answer. So it was killer whales last time.
Oh,
May fascinate you to know that it was her favorite because they were like taking down like expensive.
Oh yeah, the yachts in Spain. Yeah. No, I feel like humpback whales, one, I was obsessed with humpback whales as a child. I feel like you can either be a horse girly or you can be a whale girly. And I was a whale girly, much to the chagrin of my mother, who was a horse girly. And like you have all these really great songs. I was very like, I love to sing. I don't sing anymore, but I used to once upon a time. And I don't know, you get to like go all over the ocean and you're kind of just like this, like, hey, I'm hanging out at the bottom of the ocean, singing my song, doing my thing.
I'm here for this. I love this. I love this about you as well. I think this is fabulous. Who needs horses?
Who needs horses? I mean, don't say that to my mom. She owns a horse.
Horse people are like Taylor Swift people. You can't make them mad.
You don't mess with them because they will cut you because they got all those like tools to like dig things out of a horse thing. And I've like learned way more about trimming cow hooves and horse hooves thanks to TikTok. Again.
Yes, I was in a hardcore cow hoof trimming era on TikTok.
I went to YouTube. I graduated from the like 30-second TikTok videos to like the 8-minute YouTube videos where I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's a white line problem. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm saying.
Oh my God. I love this. Yeah. Yeah, you really graduated. You went. Yeah,
I was like, I gotta have more of this. My brother says it's just, I just want the guy who has the Scottish accent talking to me for longer. And you know what? I'm like, I'm fine with that. That is also okay.
That is fair. It's just a very special accent. I have a special place in my heart for it too.
Yeah. And he just cares about the cows.
Well, now I'm very excited to know what is the strangest thing you own.
Oh my gosh, what is the strangest thing I own? Like the strangest thing I own that I have purchased or the strangest thing I own that has been like gifted to me?
Ooh, either.
Yeah, okay, so I don't know how clean this is for a YA book talk thing, but my friend once upon a time gifted me with a single piece of penis glitter. And it has lived in my apartment. Like I have tried to get rid of this thing and it just shows up. Like it's just one single little tiny little silver thing. And it has lived in my apartment for like 10 years.
Question, Your Honor.
Yeah.
What? Please explain to this humble zygote what is penis glitter. Also, we mark our episodes as explicit, so you're free.
Oh, okay, great. I was like, we might be in trouble. So do you know like confetti or like glitter? So like something that you like have at like a bachelorette party.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, they're just like little, like they're like this big, and it's just a full cock and balls. But
That's that's way better than what I had in my head. I thought you had like some glitter from someone's penis, and I was
whoa. I mean, also would be like fascinating. Like I feel like then it would be in like a little vial, like that sand you get at the beach, which would be more disturbing.
Okay, I was picturing the same thing. I was like, there was this really hot male stripper, and you just had to have a piece of glitter. That had
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing. Oh my God.
It's my
We got
favorite
this figured
answer.
out. Yeah, no, it's a single piece of penis glitter that just floats around my apartment. Last time I thought it was on a bookshelf somewhere.
Oh, amazing. Penis glitter for all, you know?
Exactly. You know, sometimes it's just what you need.
It's true. It's true.
I love
we
it.
all need penis glitter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, what is something you think of way too often?
I mean, this is like, okay, here we're gonna like flip it around and go from like really funny to really serious. I probably think about like how like disability rights or disability like issues like every day. And it's not great. It makes me really angry. Again, two dichotomies, one really funny, one really serious.
And that's life, right?
And
like that's life.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
gonna say you're in the right place. That's literally our show. One moment we're laughing about penises, and then we're crying about existence.
Which is, yeah, welcome to like life in 2024.
It's
Yeah,
true.
Yeah. Somehow we're here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have one more question, and that is, what is one of your most random, memorable life moments? Be funny or otherwise.
Oh my gosh. Can I have two?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Both of them strangely have to deal with the same, I think almost the same trip. I one time played foosball with Barbara Bush.
Okay.
It's very random. So great. And the other, but it's straight face. The other time, I threw a book at a doctor and I hit him in the head in the middle of a cast room. So
what? Well, okay. Same trip you said? Did you mention
almost the same trip? I think it was within a couple of years of each other.
Okay. Wow.
I would like a small expansion. Why was the book thrown at the doctor's head?
Oh. So I was in the middle of hand straightening surgery procedures because it's like more than one. So part of it was like every week I had to go, or like every 2 weeks I had to go to the cast room, which is basically like where they put you in a cast. But they can also, it's also on the same floor as the operating theater. So like if something is wrong, they can just like roll you over to the operating theaters and open you up and all that jazz. And because I was a child, they like make you go really, really early in the morning. And because they might have to do surgery on you, you can't eat anything. And so I was in the cast room. I was hungry. He was late. And he was like he was trying to be funny and like make it a joke and kind of kept calling me, because I'm from Kansas. He kept calling me the Wicked Witch of the West. And I got super, and I mean, hold on. I think I have the book.
It has a place of honor.
So it's not like, it is not a small book by any stretch of the imagination. And I just, at the end of everything, just reared back and chucked it at him and hit him in the head. And the entire cast room went, because I had just, beamed the head of like the International Hand Surgeon Association in the head with a book.
He earned it. He
earned it,
Oh my gosh, he deserved a good chunk in the head, and that's a thick book.
It is not by any means a small book.
I'm surprised you didn't knock his ass out.
I mean, maybe got rid of a few more brain cells, but he passed his medical boards already.
He deserved it. He definitely.
You know what? He
Yeah.
earned his right back. You know, we paid him. It's fine. He got his
Yeah.
$75,000 for surgery.
Yeah. So you know what? You're square. You're even.
Yeah.
No, so how old was that? You were pretty young? Like,
I was 12.
okay, and you were
12.
reading a big, thick old juicy book.
Yeah, thick gold. Like, this was a book that had been brought to me by a friend who had gone to her local Barnes and Noble, and you can tell this was like pre-YA world because she asked the like bookseller, like, I have this friend, she's in a hospital, she's like 12, she loves fantasy, give me 2 books. And I got that book and The Golden Compass.
Another thick, juicy book.
Another thick, juicy book. And those were the 2 things that I got. And the interesting thing about that book is I picked it up while I was in the hospital and I had to like put it down because the main character there, his name is Rohan. And I was reading Lord of the Rings with my mom at the time. And I was on morphine. So forgive my childish brain. My brain was like, why is a country talking like it's a person?
Oh. That is confusing though.
I was like, and it's spelled the same. And I was like,
Yeah.
no.
But both of those books would have been like worthy backups to throw for additional comment. Choo. I'm also just impressed at your accuracy because like I get fiery moments like that, but like I'm like quite clumsy and I have terrible aim. I would never hit my mark. Like it must have been satisfying that it hit.
It was. I think it was also then like that. Oops. And the mom is right there. So you're like, am I gonna get in trouble for that?
I love this. I love learning this about you. I'm here for this. Now, were you always a reader then, even from like a young age?
Yeah. So my brother is extremely dyslexic, and like the thing that schools still like to tell kids or parents of kids with dyslexia is like your parents should just read to you. And so my mom, in an effort to be the good mom and do what she was told, she read to my brother and I for like 20 minutes every day, or 20 minutes from my book, 20 minutes from his book. So like I grew up reading, I don't know, anything and everything. It was an 8-hour drive between our house and my hospital. So we did a ton of audiobooks. I think I had done the Les Miserables audiobook when I was 8. And I used to walk around being like, favorite book. And people were like, I'm sorry, child, what? But like did Jurassic Park and Tom Clancy, Susan Cooper, Madeline L'Engle, like kind of was all over the spectrum. My mom and I would go through like periods where we would do like completionist things where like we got really into Mary Higgins Clark one summer and we did like 20 books in the Mary Higgins Clark series. And then I graduated to romance and my mother did not follow me there. And so I would do like all of Nora Roberts. And I did like, 30 books in Nora Roberts one summer. And one summer I did like the entire oeuvre of like Jodi Picoult. And then like, it was just like always one of those things that I would find one person and I would just like claw my way through whatever they had available.
So freaking cool. I really, really do. And how did it go from reader to writer? Like, did you know you wanted to always be a writer?
So again, my mother would probably say, Gretchen, you have always been destined to be a writer. And I'd be like, I don't think that's true. I originally was going to go to medical school, which maybe is a little less surprising given my history. And I didn't really start, like I had written things off and on. I was a fanfic girly for a long time. I did that whole jam and kind of just like wrote bits and snippets here and there, and wasn't really until grad school that I finished my first novel and I wrote my master's thesis, which was a retelling of Peter Pan. And then I wrote like another pilot and that I actually want to turn into a screenplay. Anyway, and so I wrote 3 books before I had an agent, before I wrote Ellie, and that became my debut. So.
Yes. What was your query and submission process like?
I hate everything about it.
I love that answer.
Literally, I hate everything about it, mostly because my day job has made me like an extreme lover of data and like how can you reverse engineer something to get close, like, how can we get closer to our answer faster, doing less work, like, work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
So Ellie, I wrote in 7 weeks during the pandemic, in May of 2020, because I was at home and I was like, okay, here we go. Do, 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 do. I started sending out queries in the summer and got a lot of like, oh, this is good, but no. My favorite memorable one that I will forever hold a grudge against the agent is like, you're a really great writer. This book is unsellable.
Fuck them. Fuck
I
them.
hate those ones. They're like, your writing is so brilliant and your hook is engaging, but I don't know where to put this. But hang on.
But also, isn't that your job? Like,
Also, I just have to interject because literally yesterday, my husband said to me, because I got a rejection and they were like, oh, it feels like too derivative or whatever. And my husband was like, he's like, when it's like really out of the box or whatever, they're like, I don't know where to put this. And when it's like more familiar tropes, they're like, it's too derivative. He's like, you guys can't win.
also my whole thing is like some of the biggest like sort of big books in the genre are books that were risks. Hunger Games, Twilight, Harry Potter, like they were all these things that like were huge risks for a house. And like that's the only way to like get the big reward is to take the big risk. So and then I did pitch wars. So yeah, so I queried, didn't work. I was like really like I'm gonna just cry my eyes out every day, all day, whatever. Did pitch wars and was basically like trying to like reframe my entire like mental load of like what do I want from pitch wars, because I don't know, like they send you like they used to send like these 5 questions to you if your mentor, if people were interested in mentoring you, they'd be like, what do you want out of pitch wars? And I was like, what do I want out of pitch wars? And I was like, you know what, the one thing I've never really been good at is revising, because I can get a first draft really really close. And I was like, I think the gap between me getting an agent and me like writing a draft is that like 10% of like I just need it to like happen, of somebody needs to point something out that I can fix, because everyone's like, and I'm like, but it's not good enough. And so I worked with Kara McDowell and Kimberly Gabriel, and they were phenomenal. I should say this is going to be really weird. So during this entire time, I had a breakdown to my boss at work, because, as one does, she was like, what is wrong? And I just, here is my thing. I'm really upset. I hate everything. My book isn't going anywhere. And she was like, well, send me your book. I want to read it. And I was like, okay. And like the next time she gets on, she's like, I read it. Gretchen, I read a lot of YA right now because we were in the middle of like doing YA book club. She was like, this is better than most of what we read. We're going to get this published. I was like, okay. I don't believe you, but okay. And so I did pitch wars, and I'd kind of been putting her off because she's like, you're working on your book. Like, what's your final manuscript? And I was like, I was getting ready for the showcase and everything. And finally my boss was like, do you have where is your final manuscript? And I was like, okay, here it is. Take it away. And the day the posts went live for YA, my boss forwards an email to me that's like, putting us all together. And unbeknownst to me, she'd taken my book and sent it to CAA, to the head of CAA Lit.
Yes.
And it was the head of CAA Lit and my now agent, Alex. And Kate Hoyt was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is your first book. It wasn't, but we're not going to tell her that. But she was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I'm hooking you up with one of our rising agents. She's here to like develop our fiction section. She wants to talk to you. And I was like, great. So Alex and I set this call. Meanwhile, I like DM Kara, and I'm like, Kara, we have a problem. Well, no, it wasn't even that yet. So I got on a call with Alex, and here's me thinking like this is Hollywood, Hello Sunshine, big client of CAA. They're just doing me a fit, like call her, give her some notes, send her on her way. So I again did nothing to prepare for this call. Absolutely was like, this is fine. Like she's gonna give me some notes on my book and it's gonna be fine, whatever. And like 5 minutes into the call, I like stop her because she's like, let's talk about the notes I sent. Because she sent not only like a full edit letter, she had like an entire line note, like line edit as well.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm sorry, what call is this? And she was like, oh, well, this is an offer call. And I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Like, start like frantically G-chatting my friends, being like, what am I supposed to ask on this call again? So I then have to like call Kara, and Kara and I get on the phone and we're like, okay, so how do we play this? Because like obviously Alex, I told her I was in Pitch Wars. She's like, I don't want to wait 2 weeks, but that is industry standard. So like go with God. Like and so Pitch Wars got mad at me. And I was like, this was not my fault. My boss did something I had no control over.
Did they get mad at you?
Yeah, because they were like, you're not supposed to be querying if you're in the showcase, and this is like, and I was like, I can't help what my boss does.
You cannot.
Oh,
already
I
done.
also have thoughts about this, but they will have to be saved for another time because they're ranty thoughts. But I think like if you're like things are happening for your book, the bookish community should be happy no matter how it's happening. And like the program that's designed there to like help you get like if you got it before, like amazing. Like, come on, friends. Let's be happy for each other.
Right? So I did that. And so I ended up like I sent all of the everyone who I had sent a query to before Pitch Wars, where I'd be like, hey, just hold, I'm doing Pitch Wars. I basically sent them with like, hey, you've got 2 weeks. And I think even before 2 weeks were up, I like was like, Alex, yes. And so I signed with Alex. We edited through the summer. I think I did 2 rounds of edits, which is kind of funny because like everything I put in with Pitch Wars, we took out.
Wow.
It was like one of those big things where it was like, put it in, take it out. And sometimes even the stuff like when I got to an editorial stage, it was like, we put it in, we'll take it out. Which just is like that 10% is so like everybody's own like stamp, right? Like you don't know what that is going to be ultimately.
That's such a smart way to look at it. I've never heard it posed that way, but it is something that, I hear a lot. Like, depending who you go with, like, it could completely go a different way, the way your book is. And, like, it's kind of down to the author on how they're going to do that. And, like, if it resonates with them, that vision and whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the thing is like, I think nobody really talks about how, like, at that editorial stage, it really becomes like a group project almost. Like, yes, you're the author, it's your thing. You can be like, no, but like editors and agents acquire things that they like because they want to help shape and mold it and like leave their fingerprints on it too.
Yeah.
And so like, you just have to make sure like when you're picking someone that they have your vision, that they're editing toward your vision, not just like, this is what I think.
That's so true. I think that's brilliant advice too, is just because you want to say yes to an agent or an editor, but if they're not the right ones and they're not going to take your project to where you ultimately want it to be, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's usually one of the first questions I ask before giving like critiques for friends is like, what is your vision for the project? Because I can have a vision for the project, but if that's not your vision, my notes will mean jack shit to you.
Yeah, that's good. That's cool.
So I did that, and then we went on submission in August. And then at the end of August, well, I moved back to LA. We got a lot of, this is lovely. This is not right for my list. And then I was working on something else, but I finally my mom had to go have brain surgery. So I was gonna fly out to New York to be with her during that because, payback. um and I decided to go to New York actually to like see the city because I'd been there a couple times for work, but never like actually got to see like this is New York. Um, and so I like made a lot of arrangements because I was like, well, if I can meet people in publishing thanks to my day job, they will take me out for meals, and that will be one less thing I have to pay for in New York. And we were getting to the end of the sort of like sub list, and I was like, okay, I'm like ready to like make some moves here. And I told Alex, I was like, hey, I'm having lunch with Wednesday Books. I am happy to say something pointed if you would like at this lunch, because you know what? Why not lay it all out there? And Alex was like, cool, hold, let me talk to the team. We'll come up with some stuff and come back to you. So I was having lunch with Wednesday on Wednesday. And I was having coffee with Alex on Tuesday. So Alex shows up for coffee and is like, okay, so here's how it's going. So Kate called the head of St. Martin's Press, Jennifer Underland, and was like, so I hear you have this really great book at one of your imprints. What is happening with it? And then Jen called Wednesday and was like, hi, I have this question for you all. Unbeknownst to me, Wednesday had already passed. The editor we had subbed to had already passed on it with the like advice of like, this is not a debut novel. And I was like, and Alex and I were both trying to be like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it ended up going to a different editor at Wednesday who was going to take a look at it. So Alex sits down at coffee and she's like, so here's the thing. They may say something. And if they say something, feel free to like loop us all in an email with me and I take over. I'll remove you. They can have it, whatever. And so I went, had lunch. It was great. We didn't talk about anything. We drank a lot of champagne because Hello Sunshine Book Club made Wednesday a lot of money once upon a time. And the next day I went to Long Island to meet my mom for surgery. And I had my phone on because I was expecting a work call. And I pick up the phone because I'm like, oh, this is my like boss at work calling me for this thing. And I'm like, why is Alex calling me? And she was like, congratulations, published author. She was like, we have an offer in hand from Wednesday. And they came in with like a super, I would say like aggressive offer for a contemporary novel. And of course Alex countered because I was like, but what if just accepted? And Alex was like, we counter. And I was like, well, what if they take it away? And she was like, we counter. And I was like, but what if they take it away? And she's like, who are you talking to that you think that they would take something away because we countered? And I was like, my own insecurities.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds scary.
Yeah, like you're like, I don't like nobody move. We're not gonna mess this up. And so we like, then you have to go out and you have to tell everybody okay with this? And everyone was like, yeah, have fun. And I was like, cool. Eileen. I mean, and she really got the book and like what the book was trying to do and had like this great plan for it and like things that got added, like there were things. So in the book, there are a whole bunch of blogs because her mom is a mommy blogger. Then the blogs did not, like the blog entries themselves did not exist in the book until the editorial stage, which is now I think one of the most interesting points of the book itself.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds honestly super cool. Can you tell us a little bit like what ELLIE Haycock, I want to get there.
Oh, fine. It's a weird name. And if I knew it was going to be in the title, I probably would not like, it was one of those like, mom needs to yell full name at child. What's a last name? Okay, here you go. I would have chosen a different name.
I'm sorry, but it was the penis glitter was talking to you.
I think so.
Probably the penis glitter talking to me all the way from California.
Like, ELLIE Haycock is totally normal. Can you tell us, I see like our time is dwindling, but I want to know what is this book about? Like, can you give us a quick
Yeah,
synopsis?
I'm gonna try to remember my like 90-second pitch. So Ellie Haycock is about a girl who is really great about keeping her two lives separate. Those lives are her high school life and her hospital life. But this is what happens when a new sickness sends her back to the hospital, and it will take a new group of friends and a new love interest to tell her that not only is mixing your two lives okay, but it is also totally normal.
Oh,
Mm.
love. I love. And I want to ask about the blurb that I saw on the front.
Should I do one?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, I saw a Reese Witherspoon as the blurber. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that's my boss. I forgot so many people, like my ultimate boss, not the boss that was like emailing CAA on my behalf. Yeah, so I work at Hello Sunshine. I work for Reese's Book Club. I've worked there now for it'll be 7 years in August, which is wild to me. And it was one of those things that like when I got my book deal that I was like, you know what? Shoot your shot. The worst they can say is no.
Oh, yes.
And so I like went to the boss I interact with on the daily, and who was the one who did the CAA and all of the things. And she was like, I got you. We're gonna figure this out. And I was like, all right, Sarah handling it. And so yeah, so she went to Reese and Reese requested the material and read the book and had like so many lovely things to say about it. And I was like, I don't know how I got this lucky, but yeah, I just think of her as like, oh yeah, that's Reese, my boss. She's super great and she's super lovely. And then I'm like, oh right, that's Reese Witherspoon. Like it's like that, like, you know, how hard can it be men do it? How hard
Yes.
can men do it? It's like, oh, that's Reese Witherspoon. Oh right, that's Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, I got chills hearing you repeat that quote again because I get chills every time I hear it, but like hearing it again, like yes. And that's it. As you're speaking, I'm like, I know how fortune favors the brave. And like what a brave thing to do. And like you're always in with a chance if you put your name in the hat.
That's what I was like. I was like, again, after publishing, how hard is it to hear the word no?
Amen.
How many times have all of us heard no in this call? You know?
That is so real and so like we need that on t-shirts. Like it's just that's it. You've got to get used to hearing no a lot if you want to stay in it. Like and you become weathered to it. You're just like, oh, another no. Okay.
Yeah, another no. That's fine. Sure. Okay. Keep going. Like, you know, like you got to get that one person who was like, I want to have 100 rejections a year or something. And I was like, oh. But now I'm like, yeah, all right, let's go. 100 rejections.
Do you think that's what made you feel like brave enough to just go for it? Because you like had dealt with all the rejection in the past and you're like, yeah.
Oh, absolutely not. I still hate rejection. I think it's supposed look, do as I say, not as I do. Still like a cowardly little chicken who hates to hear the word no.
But you do it anyway.
Do it anyway, kind of like suck it up and being like, you know, I think someone recently told me like this thing that like the debut experience only comes around once. And like, you know, if you've got to like go out with it, like put it all in the book is what my friend Emily Wibberley would tell me of like, you don't know if you're going to get another book. So any idea you have, put it all in. And my editor, Eileen, is very good at saying, no, take it out, take it out, take it out. But she's like, I understand that you're a kitchen sink writer, put it all in. And I think that like applies to like all the other things around being an author. Cause like there's being a writer and then there's being an author, which is the social media and the blurbs and the networking and all of those things like that for good and for ill comes along with the job.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to get cut off.
I know. I was like, I don't want to get cut off. I'm sorry. I'm long-winded.
That was beautiful.
No, you're perfect.
Perfect. And I can't believe we're already at the time limit, but oh my God, you're amazing. We love you. We're so excited for you and your book. And this is so fun.
We're just going to have you back soon.
Yeah. You
so
know,
we can